From the National Newsroom of the Canadian Press, I'm Rob Westgate. Tobacco giant JTI McDonald is opposing a proposed $32.5 billion settlement with the provinces, territories, and Quebec smokers. The corporation filed a document with an Ontario court ahead of a hearing scheduled for today. Two other companies, Rothmans, Benson & Hedges, and Imperial Tobacco Canada, were also included in the settlement. Now, before it can be implemented, the proposed plan must be voted on by creditors, which includes plaintiffs in the two class action lawsuits in Quebec, as well as provincial governments seeking to recover smoking-related health costs. Today marks the end of wildfire season in Alberta, one which saw more fires than last year, but less than a third of the area burned. Officials say Alberta Wildfire responded to more than 1,200 fires this year, exceeding the record-breaking total last year of 1,080. They say more than 7,000 square kilometers of land were scorched this year, when compared with more than 22,000 square kilometers in 2023. South of the border, U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump were both in Wisconsin last night, rallying supporters ahead of Election Day come Tuesday.
Former President Trump in Green Bay, Wisconsin last night wearing an orange vest used by sanitation workers.
Kamala Harris is not fit to be President of the United States. In no way is she fit.
Are we ready to win?
The vice president also in Wisconsin last night, speaking to young voters.
Can we hear it for our first-time voters?
New polls show Harris with a 6-point lead over Trump in Wisconsin and a 5-point lead in Michigan. In Pennsylvania, it's a tie. Perry Russum, ABC News, Washington.
Palestinian officials say an Israeli military raid in the occupied West Bank has killed at least 3 people. 2 Palestinians were killed in an Israeli airstrike and a third by Israeli gunfire. The Israeli military says its forces were targeting militants in the area of the Nur Shams refugee camp, which has seen repeated battles in recent months. The military said it eliminated a Hamas militant in the area who was involved in planning attacks on Israelis. And finally, some Taylor Swift fans are accusing the accommodation industry in Vancouver and Toronto of price gouging ahead of the megastar's upcoming concerts. Hotel rooms on show weekends reportedly cost up to 10 times more than on earlier weekends. Economist Thomas Davidoff says he doesn't see a problem with the surge pricing as it reflects demand and availability.
There'll be a ton of hotel demand and a ton of Airbnb demand, and prices will reflect that demand, and that's appropriate. If you didn't have high prices, you'd have more random rationing of units, and I think that's all as it should be mostly.
The BC Hotel Association declined interview requests, while the Greater Toronto Hotel Association didn't respond. This is the Canadian Press. In sports, the Los Angeles Dodgers have won the World Series, the Dodgers edging the New York Yankees 7-6 at Yankee Stadium in Game 5 of the best-of-7 series. New York had led 5-0 after 4 innings, but L.A., they countered with a 5-run fifth to tie it up. It was the second World Series title for the Dodgers in 5 seasons. The Winnipeg Jets were quick to get back into the win column with a 6-2 victory over the Detroit Red Wings. Meanwhile, the Utah Hockey Club snaps a 4-game losing skid with a 5-1 victory over the visiting Calgary Flames. And the New Jersey Devils handed the Vancouver Canucks a 6-0 drubbing. Over to the hard court, the Charlotte Hornets earned their first home win of the NBA season with a 138-133 win over the visiting Toronto Raptors. And Canada's Rachel Homan and Brad Gushue take their unbeaten records into today's final preliminary round draw at the Pan-Continental Curling Championship being held in Lacombe, Alberta. From the Canadian Press, I'm Rob Westgate.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. For more of today's top stories, visit thecanadianpressnews.ca.